how does the Food Indaba act as a medium to tell these stories
Yes,
that are
that's
often
right.
and still largely invisible? And I think I'll link this back to Tapiwa and then also to the AI.
Yes.
His sort of mission is to render visible the foods and the narratives that are invisible. And using ice cream is genius because
Brilliant.
everybody
Yes.
likes ice cream.
Yeah.
Very challenging from a business point of view,
Yeah.
but it's an incredible medium. Okay, so part of what he's trying to do is put the data into the system, right? And I think this is where we're coming at AI for this particular program, and I'll link it to the cultural aspects of discovery of a city through food as well. If you look at any of the current language models, the ChatGPTs, the DeepSeeks, and the Claudes, and whatever else is out there, about 5% of the data is about Africa.
Yeah.
And of that, about 3% is generated by Africans. So we have a massive data deficit. And you alluded to it earlier when you said that years ago you would do a search for African food and you would find little. And now if you do a search, you find a lot more.
Yes.
But it's still not a
enough.
lot.
Yeah.
And what it's able to, how those AIs are able to understand the linkages is not there yet. And it's because there's an absence of data, right? So, if you look at what Tapi was doing, he is actively feeding these systems by creating a lot of content.
Yes.
And the Food Indaba's kind of starting premise is, if we want to achieve a Pan-African food system that's more healthy, more just, and more resilient, we have to ensure that the means through which people understand this, which is largely the internet and now AI, contains the data that the system can synthesize to give out the answers that are really helpful. Because based on the current data, the AIs will give us answers to our questions and help us solve problems in a way that's actually not all that helpful because it doesn't have enough data to draw on, right? So how do we do a 2-week program where we can spotlight that? That's fine, but what are the action steps that I, as a regular person, can take? What is my data? And how does my data now augment a language model to enrich it with representation of us?